Inaugural changing of the guard. Arthur Gregg Sulzberger, 37, will become the publisher of the New York Times on January 1. His father, Arthur Arx Sulzberger Jr., announced on Thursday that he was turning over the post to his son. The ascension of the younger Mr. Sulzberger, who is known as E.G., comes just over a year after he was named deputy publisher of the Times. The New York Times Company's board voted in favor of the move during a meeting on Thursday. The elder Mr. Sulzberger, 66, who will stay on as chairman of the New York Times Company, has been the publisher since 1992. "This isn't a goodbye, Mr. Sulzberger said in a note to Times employees on Thursday. But, beginning in the new year, the grand ship that is the Times will be A.G.'s to steer, best known for heading the team that produced the Times's Innovation Report in 2014. A.G. Sulzberger will be the sixth member of the Arx Sulzberger family to serve as publisher since its patriarch, Adolph S. Arx, purchased the paper in a bankruptcy sale in 1896. "I am an unapologetic champion for this institution and its journalistic mission," A.G. Sulzberger said, "and I'll continue to be that as publisher." Despite his in-house reputation as an innovator, the incoming publisher said that he did not expect to shake things up early in his tenure. "I don't expect there to be some flurry of change," he said. During his quarter-century tenure as publisher, the elder Mr. Sulzberger presided over the paper's national expansion and guided it through the advent of the Internet. In 1996, he moved the Times online. In 2011, he instituted a paywall that risked pushing away readers but has since become the centerpiece of the company's growth model. In recent years, as print advertising revenue declined sharply, the Times has focused on adding subscribers and accelerating its digital expansion. With 3.5 million paid subscriptions, 2.5 million of them are digital only, the Times is one of the few newspaper companies whose newsroom is growing at a time when the industry is struggling. The elder Mr. Sulzberger assumed the job of publisher when George H.W. Bush was president and Max Frankel was the newspaper's executive editor. To prepare for the role, he served in a variety of jobs at the Times, including as a correspondent in Washington and the night production manager overseeing the newspaper's printing press at its former location on West 43rd Street. With Mr. Sulzberger in control, the Times weathered not only the sometimes rocky early days of its digital transformation, but also an economic recession that claimed dozens of newspapers nationwide. His term was not without financial missteps and newsroom turmoil, including the Jason Blair plagiarism scandal in 2003 and the firing of a chief executive and two executive editors. Yet even as American newspapers fell increasingly into the hands of corporations and billionaires, Mr. Sulzberger remained committed to the Times, investing in its journalism and keeping bureaus open around the world. The newsroom, with roughly 1,450 journalists, is larger now than it was when he started his term.